Hello everybody, it's Friday. Let's talk about the book I read this week. I didn't have enough time last week to read a book, so I started reading 2 or 3 books. Because I was gone for the long weekend here in Toronto. I was gone to Oshawa. So I kind of cut into reading time to get my drift. Anyway, I read a book. I did finish a book. Like I said, I got a couple other ones on the go, but I finished reading this one this week. Brand of the Werewolf, Dog Savage. The Fantastic Adventures of Dog Savage by Kenneth Robson. This is book number 5. I don't know how many there is in the pocketbook series, probably 180, around there. There was a lot of pulp magazines back in the, what was it, 30s, 20s, 30s, something like that, right? Dog Savage. Very popular character. Although years ago when they did a Dog Savage movie, it didn't turn out that well. What year was that? I can't remember now, but I did see it. It was terrible, terrible movie. I don't think they did another one since then. But this is about Dog Savage and his, his friends. And he has a brother, pretty sure it's a brother, that lives in Canada. His name's Alex. So Alex has a daughter named Patricia. She's got goldish hair, something like Dog Savage. Anyway, he decides to go visit her. Goes on a train trip. Takes it easy. You know, train trip, you relax, you have something to eat, look out the window, read the newspaper. He could have took an airplane or a jet and got there in an hour, but no. He wanted to relax. Anyway, there's something going on at the house over in Canada at his uncle's place, right? And he's on the train, and a couple of people on the train are trying to kill him, right? And they're sending messages back and forth to each other, these gangsters. Anyway, he heads to Canada. He ends up going to Canada, and he finds out that his uncle got killed, murdered. And there's a bunch of swarthy men trying to get this cube from his niece. I presume it's his niece, Patricia. And Patricia has an Indian and an Indian lady working for her. And they kind of speak kind of like yassa ma'am. And some of the language or the way things are in this book, I don't think they could get away with it today, right? So that's the time and place and how books are written, in the 1930s. Whereas, like I said, sometimes you can't write those books this year, right? And I don't think Indian people here in Canada actually spoke that way anyway, to begin with. But anyway, it's just a story, right? So, this originally was printed in Printing history. This was originally printed in Dog Savage magazine, January 1934. And the Bantam edition, which is this one, was first published in April of 1965. And the book I have on me now, this one here that you're looking at, is the 7th printing, July 1972. So the first prints in the pocketbook, the first prints, right, are always worth more money. This book's not worth anything other than read it, right? It's not worth any money. No, it's not worth nothing. Zippo. Probably worth 35 cents. But it's a good story. All Dog Savages, most of them are all interesting. These are adventure books. I don't know if they're sci-fi or not, but there's a little sci-fi in them, right? Because of the airplanes, the guns, the way they, Dog Savage thinks up things and they make up these bombs and things that blow up and guns that shoot but don't kill anybody. And Dog Savage, he never kills anybody, right? But a lot of people die in these books, but he don't kill them. They have their own way of dying, right? He puts them in a position where most of them are going to die anyway for whatever things they get themselves into, right? The situations. So that's Brand of the Werewolf. You know, I got a lot of these books, or had a lot of them, because when I read them, sometimes I give them away or give them to other people or whatever. But I've never ever had the whole 180 series of books. I tried, but I failed. So as old as I am now, I'm not going to bother trying to. If I come across one, I might buy one. But other than that, no, I'm not going to continue the series or try to get, trying to get the complete set. No point. And anyway, I got nowhere to put them. Those days of putting them in a bookshelf or putting them somewhere, that's long gone. So I read them. A lot of my stuff I read, and then I pass them on, give them to other people, give them to the mysteries. I give them to the lady upstairs and the whodunits, and some books I read, and don't matter. I put them downstairs in the laundry room. People pick them up and read them and stuff. But some of my collectible books, I try not to give them away. I read them and put them back in the bookshelf. But as I said, most of them, a lot of them, don't matter anymore. I give them away, give them to somebody else. Pay it forward, read a book, give it to my brother, he gives it to somebody else. A lot of books I have like that. But this is Doc Savage, that's what we're talking about. Brand of the Werewolf. A good read. If you haven't read it, seek it out, or seek out Doc Savage in general. Talk to you later, book lovers.